I have a question for you and your insurance agency. Here it is. Can you tell me in 30 seconds or less what your insurance agency does, why your insurance agency is special, and why should I be going to your insurance agency for my insurance needs? If not, well, then you probably don't have your elevator pitch prepared. And on top of that, that also tells me that you might not be able to really define what makes your insurance agency special, what makes it different, what makes you the go-to person, the go-to agency for my needs. So, as you've probably guessed, that is exactly what I'm going to talk to you about in this episode of Planet of the Agents. So, you know what to do. It's time for that rumble to get started inside of you. It's time for that excitement of insurance to start spinning up. So you better sit down, buckle up, and get ready. Because on this episode of Planet of the Agents, we're going to be talking about something serious. Here we go. Hello, everyone out there. Thank you for joining me, your host, Dave Baker, once again on an episode of Planet of the Agents. Now, wherever you are absorbing this content, whether it's on YouTube, and I hope you are going to YouTube and watching the Planet of the Agents show so you can see the cool stuff I add that you don't get in the podcast, or if you're listening on a podcast, make sure that you like the show, give us a thumbs up, click the plus button, and of course, make sure that you are subscribed to the show. Again, wherever you're listening, whatever platform it is, get subscribed because we are putting out more and more and more episodes, and we're gonna keep focusing on helping you to learn from my life experience, learn from things I've done, and hopefully grow your agency and retain customers and do whatever it takes to keep getting better. Okay, as always, of course, if you wanna reach out to me, it's easy. Just go to planetoftheagents.com and click the contact button. You can reach me there, send me your ideas, send me your comments, send me your thoughts. Let me know what you'd like me to talk about on the show, or if you have something that you specifically want me to address, that's okay, let me know. I love getting your letters. Some of them are pretty funny. Some of them are intriguing, we'll say. I appreciate all the things you share about your lives and insurance, and it's very, very intriguing. I'll just say that. Okay, so what was I talking about in the intro? I was talking about defining your insurance agency. What is it that you do? Now, like I always say, I talk to tons of insurance agents every week. I think there are some people who call me almost every day, and we share war stories and all kinds of things. And one thing that I noticed is that there are a lot of people out there who are basically what we like to call generalists. You could also call that a jack of all trades. But do you know that expression? You can be a jack of all trades, but master of none, right? So what am I talking about here? So when a new agent contacts me with their property and casualty agency, and maybe they want to work with me, one of the questions I ask them is, well, what do you focus on? What does your agency do? And they often tell me something like, oh, we do a little bit of everything. Yeah, we'll pretty much help anyone who contacts us. We just do a little bit of this and a little bit of that. So I try to narrow it down with just the first step. I'll say something like, well, are you focused on commercial lines or personal lines? Sometimes people don't even want to address that. They will say something like, yeah, well, just pretty much whatever someone needs, we're there for them. I said, oh. So sometimes I'll say something funny. You know, I like to bring up some kind of obscure insurance. I'll say, oh, do you sell insurance for airplanes? Like, well, I don't know how to do it, but I can figure it out. Well, I'm sure that people can figure things out, and you can get the carriers or markets or wholesalers that you need to get access to things like that. But if you do everything, then what is it that you do well? Okay, when I talk to someone who has a niche focus, they seem to be able to tell me very well what they do. There is one agent that I know that focuses on horse insurance, also called equine insurance, right? So in a nutshell, that person can tell me very quickly exactly what she does at her agency. She doesn't sell auto insurance. She doesn't sell manufacturer's insurance. Probably not selling crime insurance. Probably not a lot of cyber liability insurance. She is focused on the horse and equine industry. So she can tell me, that's what I sell. That's what I do. So her marketing is wholly focused on the equine industry, right? Animals, horses, and probably some related things that fall in the same category. So let me ask you question number one. Can you specify what your agency is focused on? Do you have a focus? Do you really sell everything? Is that really what you do? That's a question that I think is going to be more and more important as the role of insurance agents continue to change. Now, I understand that some of you have some personal lines business and some commercial lines business. Okay, I understand that. And some of you have built your business in some sense trying to help everyone that you can. But let me ask you question number two. Is your current setup helping your business grow? So think about this. As things change, and I particularly feel that personal lines agents are in a situation where they are feeling more pressure and pain than commercial agents. This particularly applies in California, where you're seeing an incredible amount of underwriting restrictions on property insurance for homes and for auto insurance. Auto insurance is becoming much more difficult in California. In Florida, agents are actually kind of used to this already, but it does make things difficult as well. Additionally, in the coastal states, anywhere that you have wind concerns, property insurance is tough. Those of you in the Midwest, you might have wind concerns with tornadoes out in Tornado Alley. I'm sure selling insurance in Oklahoma isn't always easy. But the thing is, overall, no matter where people call me from, I feel like they are feeling more pressure in personal lines. And that's why I want to talk about this topic today. I mean, think about this. I know people who are buying Teslas, or Teslas, if you want to use the correct pronunciation, and they're getting insurance directly from Tesla. So sure, it's probably an insurance company. I haven't looked into exactly who the carrier is, but they are replacing their policies that they used to use with agents, that they used to purchase from agents. So now they are buying insurance direct from the manufacturer through their channel of distribution. That's tough. So why do you need to be focused on one thing? Why do you need to distinguish yourself? Well, there are several reasons. So let's talk about a few of the reasons that you need to distinguish yourself. Number one, there is a lot of competition. So that means that you will need to be able to explain to someone why they should go to you instead of someone else. Number two, the internet. As you know, of course, the internet is one of your biggest competitors because many carriers are offering direct services online. Additionally, you have other types of technology companies like insurtech companies distributing insurance online. So it's quite difficult to deal with that. Okay, next on the list, why do you need to distinguish yourself? Well, number three, so that you can create a plan for your business. If you have a specific focus, then that will help guide your marketing. Let's go back to my example of the lady who focuses on the horse and equine insurance. She knows who she needs to market to. She has specific industries, specific businesses to whom she will market her insurance and to whom she will be able to focus on doing advertising. I see that a lot of you don't do any marketing or any advertising because people continue to contact you. But are you getting the right type of business? So that's going to be item number 4, getting the right type of business. By being focused and having a niche and being able to define yourself, that will help you find your target audience. Okay, let's look at another example. If someone contacts you from a business, say it's, just pick something obscure, a furniture manufacturer, and they want a quote, and they say, oh, do you write furniture manufacturer insurance? If your response is, Sure, we just write everything. We can help you with everything. We help all businesses. Do you think that's going to make them more confident that you have knowledge about their specific industry? What if you were focused on that industry? What if you said, yes, we're focused on manufacturers insurance. Therefore, we have prior knowledge of quoting this type of insurance. And that also means that we know a little bit more about things you might need. So you might not just need general liability, but of course, as a manufacturer, you might need product recall insurance. And we have experience with that too. This is just a simple example, but I think that it really helps define someone. Let me ask you another question. Do you really help every type of customer that contacts you? Really? Because the more I talk to people, the more I hear people being frustrated about the types of customers that are contacting them. Because again, they use generic marketing, if any marketing. For example, when I look at an average agent's website, I bring up a lot of websites and I look at them, it just says home, auto, business. But when I go to a website that's very focused, it's more likely, of course, that they will come up in a search, right? So if you're very focused on one type of insurance, let's say you very hypothetically only sell furniture manufacturer insurance. Well, if that's what your entire website is focused on, there's a good chance that you'll be more relevant in a search on the internet. Now, obviously it takes time to develop things like that, but perhaps what you can consider doing is narrowing down a focus for your agency. For those of you who work in personal lines insurance, meaning auto and home insurance, you can niche that down, as they like to say, or niche that down. You can create a niche for yourself, such as, let's think of some examples together. Number one, you could say you only help high value homeowning customers. Or you could say you only help with, what's the word we're going to say here? We're going to say you only help with homes that are in high value neighborhoods or over $1 million in rebuilding costs. That's an example. Number two, you might be focused on classic cars specifically. I met an agency that focuses solely on classic cars. That is what they do. That is their focus. They might sell other products, but in this example, this is a great example because when I met them, I asked them, well, do you cross-sell them a home insurance? They said, not really. We mostly do classic cars. Another way to focus your personal lines agency is on power sports. You can say, our focus is motorcycles, ATVs, recreational vehicles, and watercraft. That's another example. Now, to me, I do think that commercial and business insurance is really a big part of the future. And I also think it's much easier to be focused in that side of the business. So let me give you an example for the commercial industry. Here's an example that is too generic. We sell general liability insurance. No, that's too generic to me. Most business insurance agencies sell general liability insurance, right? I don't have a statistic. I don't want to say there's an official number, but generally speaking, when I talk to people, they say, yeah, we sell general liability insurance. Sure. But what if you have something like this example? We focus specifically on the manufacturing sector. We help manufacturers with multiple lines of insurance. Now you can reduce that even more depending on what you want to do, depending on your market. Perhaps you could say something like, we focus on electronic components manufacturers. So now you've niched it down even more. And that, again, when in an internet search or when you do marketing, if you're known as the go-to person for a certain type of insurance, that can be really helpful. Now, let's just talk about a couple of the benefits of having a focus and a niche. So benefit number one, you can become the go-to insurance agency for a specific business. Again, you could be the go-to, meaning when someone thinks of a certain type of insurance, they think of your agency. Wouldn't that be nice to do that over and over again? It would be incredible to have thousands of businesses all contact you because you're the go-to. Okay, benefit number two of having a niche. You can gain a focused knowledge on the products. What do I mean by this? You will by selling the same products over and over and selling things to the same industry, you can focus on learning about the correct insurance for that industry. Let's use an example for a different industry. Let's say you sell insurance to the escrow industry. Okay, what does an escrow company need? Well, general liability for the office? Sure. Professional liability? Yes, and that is hard to place, which adds value. Next, they need crime insurance. You might never have thought of that before, but if you were to be largely focused on this industry, you would keep learning about exactly what they need because you would get similar requests, and then you would be able to share that with the next customer that calls you. You'd be able to create a checklist for the products that you offer that industry. What's another insurance that industry might need? Could it be cyber liability? Everybody loves to talk about cyber liability, right? I constantly get solicited about cyber liability and selling the products. So that's another thing that you can help this industry with. What about surety bonds? Now, if you've never sold a surety bond, I understand. And if you're interested in selling surety bonds, contact me. I'd be happy to help get you set up with stuff like that. But the point of this is that the more you focus on a single industry or single niches, the more you will be able to do marketing that's easier because you will know who the target audience is, and you will hopefully have a better grasp on the products through repetition and of course through your studying. As a reminder, I personally feel it's important to study the products, to understand the exclusions, to read the policy. Have you ever read the policy before? Be honest. I want to know. I have read many policies, some over 100 pages. It's worth it because the knowledge that you get and the understanding that you have is so important. Now, these were some generic examples of how you can help your agency focus on one thing, but there are a lot of different ways you can do it. And I want to hear what you're doing. I want to hear what you're up to. So drop a comment below if you're watching on YouTube, or if you are on the podcast, you might be able to comment as well. And while you're down there, hey, why not click the thumbs up? Why not click 5 stars? Click the maximum number of stars. You know what? It makes me really happy to see that. It brings me joy to know that you like what we're doing here. All right, everybody, make sure that you, of course, are subscribed to the show wherever you're listening. And if you're on the podcast, check out the YouTube channel. Go to planetoftheagents.com. You can click watch the show on YouTube. All right, I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I cannot wait to hear from you all. And I hope this weekend was very prosperous and next week will be the same for you. All right, everybody, I cannot wait to see you in the next episode. Take care.